Are you lying awake again tonight? Not because of noise outside, but because of the noise within. Your mind won't stop. It keeps playing the same loops, regrets from the past, fears about the future, doubts about what you're doing and who you're becoming. You're not alone in that quiet struggle. It's something few people talk about, but many carry, this weight of overthinking. It doesn't shout, it whispers, slowly wearing you down, and maybe you've tried to silence it. Distract it, escape it, but still it finds its way back. The Stoics had a word for this kind of suffering, not from the world, but from how we respond to it. They believed peace doesn't come from having a perfect life. It comes from learning to meet life as it is, with clarity, with courage, and with inner steadiness. And I want to tell you this, nothing is wrong with you for feeling this way. You're not weak for struggling, you're simply human, and maybe, just maybe, you're at the beginning of a different kind of strength. Because when you start to see your thoughts not as enemies, but as signals, you begin to reclaim your mind. When you learn to anchor yourself in what truly matters, the noise begins to quiet, and in that stillness, you'll start to hear something deeper, something that's always been there. This video isn't about fixing you. You're not here to be fixed. You're here to remember that peace isn't found in the absence of thoughts, but in how you hold them. That freedom doesn't come from doing more, but from seeing more clearly. Over the next few minutes, you'll explore 8 powerful Stoic ways to stop overthinking. Not through force, but through wisdom. Not by shutting down your mind, but by opening it to a quieter kind of strength. Let's begin. Not with judgment, not with pressure, but with a breath. Because sometimes the first step toward peace is simply remembering that it's possible. Chapter 1. Understand what's in your control. This is where your peace begins. There's a quiet kind of suffering that comes from trying to control everything. You feel it when your mind won't let go of a conversation that already ended. You feel it when you rehearse a dozen possible outcomes to something that hasn't even happened yet. And you feel it when your thoughts keep circling around people's opinions, actions, or the shape of a future you can't predict. The truth is, it's not your mind that's the enemy. It's the illusion that you need to manage everything around you in order to be okay. But what if you didn't? The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. It's one of the simplest ideas and one of the most life-changing. There are only 2 categories, things that are within your control and things that aren't. You don't control the weather, the traffic, or the past. You don't control what someone else says or whether they understand you, but you do control your choices, your values. How you respond when life doesn't go the way you hoped, that's where your power lives. Not in the chaos outside you, but in the clarity within. You've already survived so much. You've adapted, you've grown, you've carried yourself through days that once felt unbearable. And you didn't do it by controlling the world. You did it by choosing how you showed up to it. Overthinking often begins the moment you forget that boundary, when your energy slips away into things that don't belong to you. You try to control how others feel. You try to make every outcome perfect. You try to guarantee safety in a world that's built on change. But you're not here to control everything. You're here to meet life as it is and still find peace inside of it. So how do you begin? Start by pausing. Ask yourself, honestly, is this within my control? If it's not, you have permission to let it go. Not in defeat, but in strength. Because letting go of what you can't control isn't giving up. It's choosing where to place your energy. It's choosing presence over panic. Power over helplessness. You're not fragile, you're focused. You don't need to carry the weight of everything to be enough. You just need to remember what's yours and what never was. Let this be your turning point. The moment you decide to stop wasting energy on things you can't shape and start pouring it into the one thing you can, yourself, your mind will try to pull you back into the storm. That's okay. Gently, patiently, bring yourself back. Each time you do, you're building something unshakable, a quieter mind, a steadier heart, a life led from the inside out. You won't silence overthinking overnight, but you will begin to walk in a new direction, one choice at a time. And every step you take toward what's truly in your control is a step toward freedom. You're not powerless. You've just been looking for power in the wrong places. Now you've found it right here in you. Chapter 2. Focus on the present task. This moment is where your life is happening. Stay here. It's easy to get lost in your head. You know the feeling. You're washing the dishes, but your mind is somewhere else, replaying a conversation, stressing about tomorrow, caught in a loop of what-ifs and should-haves. You're here, but not really here. And in those moments, life passes you by, not in years, but in fragments. Moments you weren't truly in, moments you missed because your mind was somewhere else. The Stoics knew this all too well. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and philosopher, once wrote, "Do every act of your life as though it were the last act of your life." He wasn't asking for perfection. He was pointing to presence, because when you give your full attention to what's in front of you, however simple, however small, you begin to find peace. And more than that, you begin to find yourself again. Overthinking cannot survive in the now. It feeds on past regrets and future fears. But this moment, the one you're in right now, is clear, it's real, and it's the only place you can do anything about anything. The present doesn't ask you to solve everything. It just asks you to show up, to breathe, to speak honestly, to take the next small action with care and attention. That might mean replying to one email. It might mean folding the laundry, or finally sitting with a difficult feeling without running from it. It doesn't have to be grand. But when you bring your full self to a single task, something shifts. The mind slows, the anxiety softens. And in that small act of presence, you start to remember a deeper truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who notices them. You are the one who can choose where to place your focus. Your attention is your greatest tool, not just for productivity, but for peace. When you focus on the task in front of you, you're not ignoring your worries. You're choosing to not let them run your life. And that is a powerful thing. So if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, come back to the next right thing. Not the 100 things waiting to be done, just the one thing in front of you. It might not feel like much. But presence is never wasted, because what you practice in the small things, you carry into the big ones. Every time your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back. To the breath, to the step, to the voice, to the task. And know this, presence isn't something you master, it's something you return to. You're allowed to begin again, and again, and again. This isn't about escaping your thoughts. It's about learning to be so grounded in the now that overthinking no longer finds a place to settle. Right now, you're not behind. You're not broken. You're not lost. You're just one breath away from coming home to yourself. So take that breath and come back right here, right now. Chapter 3. Memento Mori. Remember, you will die. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. There's a Latin phrase the Stoics held close, memento mori. It means remember that you will die. At first, it might sound morbid, like something you'd rather not think about, but take a breath. Stay with this, because there's something quiet and powerful hidden here, something that could change the way you live, starting now. You spend so much time trapped in your thoughts, overanalyzing, doubting, preparing for scenarios that may never come. You replay the past and rehearse the future, but meanwhile, your life is happening. Not tomorrow, not when everything is figured out, right now. And the truth is, your time is finite. That's not a threat, that's a truth. You won't be here forever. None of us will, but that's not meant to cause fear. It's meant to bring clarity. When you remember death, you remember what matters. You stop wasting your energy trying to control what doesn't belong to you. You stop giving your peace to opinions that won't matter 5 years from now. You stop waiting for the right moment to start living, because you realize the only moment you truly have is this one. Epictetus once said, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do and say and think, not in panic, but in purpose. So ask yourself, quietly, honestly, if today were the last page of your story, would you be proud of how you've spent your thoughts? Have you loved fully? Have you been kind to yourself? Have you lived in alignment with what truly matters to you? Because overthinking steals the most precious thing you have, your time. Every hour spent stuck in fear or self-doubt is an hour you never get back. But you don't have to keep living like that. You can choose something different. You can choose to wake up. You can start showing up to your life with your whole heart. You can say what you need to say. You can create, connect, forgive, without waiting for the perfect conditions that never come. And when fear whispers, "What if it all goes wrong?" you can gently whisper back, "What if I don't get another chance to try?" Your life isn't a rehearsal. This is it. And that truth, that soft, steady truth, isn't meant to rush you. It's meant to focus you. To strip away the noise and leave only what's real. Love more, worry less. Be present, let go, not because you don't care, but because you finally do. So take this moment, let it settle deep. You will die, and because of that, you must live, not later. Now, not perfectly, just fully. Let memento mori be the compass that guides you home, to a life not ruled by fear, but awakened by truth, to a mind that overthinks less and lives more, to you, living wide awake. Chapter 4. Thoughts are just thoughts. You are not what passes through your mind. You are the one who sees it. Some days, your mind feels like a storm. One thought after another, spinning and crashing into each other like waves with no end. You try to quiet it. You try to reason with it. But the more you resist, the louder it gets. And in that noise, you begin to wonder, is this who I am? Am I this fear? This doubt, this worry that won't let go? But here's what the Stoics and modern thinkers alike want you to remember. You are not your thoughts. You're the awareness behind them. Thoughts are not facts. They're not fate. They're just thoughts. They come, they go. Some are helpful, some are not. Some are rooted in truth. Others in fear or memory or even exhaustion. But none of them define you unless you let them. Imagine your thoughts like clouds moving across the sky. Some are dark and heavy. Some are light and barely noticeable. But no matter what kind of clouds pass through, the sky itself remains untouched. Still, vast, unchanged. That sky is you. Overthinking happens when you mistake the clouds for the sky. You grab onto each thought, analyze it, question it, try to solve it like a puzzle. But the more tightly you hold it, the more it controls you. You don't have to do that anymore. You can step back. You can watch your thoughts come and go without following every single one. That doesn't mean ignoring them. It means not being ruled by them. It means saying, I see you, but also asking, do I need to believe you? Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength begins with recognition. Recognizing that not every story your mind tells you deserves your energy. Not every doubt deserves a debate. Not every thought deserves to be treated like truth. And in that space, between the thought and your response, you find your freedom. So the next time your mind starts racing, don't fight it. Just pause, take a slow breath. And remember, this is just a thought. It is not me. You are the observer, the witness, the calm in the middle of the storm. You are not broken because you have anxious thoughts. You are not failing because fear shows up. You're simply human, and you are learning how to stop identifying with the noise and start living from the stillness beneath it. Let your thoughts pass like leaves on a river. Let them rise and fall without grasping, because underneath all of it, under the worry, the doubt, the endless mental chatter, there's something deeper, a quieter knowing. A deeper presence, a stronger you. That part of you isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention, but it's always been there, and now you're beginning to hear it again. So the next time a thought tells you you're not enough, you can smile gently and say, "Thank you, I hear you, but I choose not to follow." That choice, right there, is where change begins. Not outside you, but within. Chapter 5. Interrupt the loop with reason. You don't have to believe everything your mind tells you. You have the power to pause. There's a moment, right before the spiral begins, when you feel it building. A small thought enters, just a whisper. What if it goes wrong? Then another. What if they think less of me? And before you know it, your mind has taken off without you, looping, repeating, tightening its grip. It's not weakness. It's habit. Your brain, trying to keep you safe, pulls you into patterns it thinks will protect you. But what it's really doing is exhausting you. Because the loop never leads to clarity. It leads to confusion. This is where reason becomes your greatest ally. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus taught that it's not the event itself that disturbs you, but your judgment of the event. And that means something profound. You can challenge the way you're thinking. You can interrupt the loop, not by force, but by looking closer. You do this by asking simple, clear questions. What's really happening here? What do I know to be true, not what I fear might be true? What's within my power right now? These aren't big, dramatic questions. They're grounding. They pull you out of the chaos and into clarity. When you catch yourself spiraling, you can stop and say, "Okay, let's slow this down." You don't need to solve your entire life in a moment. You just need to take one honest look at what's actually in front of you. And sometimes, the most courageous thing you can do is write it down. Name the fear. Name the belief. Then ask yourself, is this helpful? Is this true? If it's not, then you have the choice to let it pass. That's not denial. That's discernment. Reason is not cold. It's not distant. It's calm. It's your inner voice when everything else feels too loud. It's what says, yes, this is uncomfortable, but I can face it. It's what reminds you that your thoughts are not always reflections of truth, but they are always opportunities to choose how you respond. Overthinking thrives on unchecked emotion. But when you bring reason into the room, the panic softens, because clarity doesn't come from thinking more. It comes from thinking differently. You don't have to react to every thought. You can ask questions instead of jumping to conclusions. You can reflect instead of ruminating. And in that space between the thought and the reaction, you find something steady. A kind of quiet power, a reminder that you don't have to be swept away. So the next time the loop begins, pause. Ask, challenge, breathe. Step back and see it clearly. Your mind is a brilliant tool, but it's not meant to be left unsupervised. You are the one who guides it. You are the one who can say, "This thought doesn't serve me." And you are the one who chooses peace, not because life is perfect, but because you've learned how to meet it with wisdom. That wisdom, it was never far. It's been within you all along. Chapter 6. Accept, then act. You don't have to like it, but you do have to face it. There's a quiet power in accepting reality, not because it's easy, not because it always feels good, but because it sets you free. You've been taught to fight what hurts, to resist what feels uncomfortable, to push against the truth until it bends. But here's the deeper truth. Resistance doesn't bring peace, it brings exhaustion. What you resist mentally, you carry emotionally. And sometimes the thing making you spiral isn't the situation itself, it's your refusal to let it be what it is. Acceptance is not giving up, it's not defeat, it's clarity. It's looking at your circumstances, your emotions, your fears, and saying, "This is what's here," not "this is what I want" or "this is what I planned," just "this is." And once you see it clearly, you can do something about it. The Stoics knew this well. They didn't teach indifference. They taught awareness. Epictetus said, "First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That's the sequence. First, see the truth. Then, move forward with intention. It's tempting to wait for life to feel easier before you take action, to wait for the fear to fade, or for everything to make sense. But what if you stopped waiting? What if you accepted the moment for what it is, and still chose to move? Because your power doesn't come from having ideal conditions. It comes from showing up despite them. Accept, then act, not from a place of resentment, but from a place of calm. Not from panic, but from presence. When you accept a difficult emotion, you stop letting it define you. When you accept that something went wrong, you stop trying to rewrite the past. And when you accept that the future is uncertain, you begin to walk into it with strength, not fear. Acceptance doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care enough to stop pretending. So ask yourself gently, what am I resisting? What truth am I avoiding because I'm afraid it will break me? Then ask yourself this, what if it won't? What if facing it is the very thing that brings you back to yourself? You don't have to solve everything today. You just have to meet the truth with open eyes and a steady heart. Even now, in this moment, you can choose to stop fighting the tide and start walking your path, one grounded step at a time. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to be honest. And from that honesty, action becomes clear, not perfect, not certain, but real. You've carried the weight of resistance long enough. Now it's time to put it down. Accept, then act from the inside out. Not because everything is okay, but because you are strong enough to face what is. Chapter 7. Declutter your life. Declutter your mind. Sometimes peace isn't something you find. It's something you uncover. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, not just by your thoughts, but by everything surrounding them. Constant noise, endless notifications, unfinished tasks, conversations left open in too many directions. And slowly, without even realizing it, your inner world begins to mirror your outer one, crowded, heavy, restless. But what if the path to clarity isn't always about doing more, but letting go? The Stoics believed in simplicity, not as a trend, but as a way of living clearly. Seneca warned against being busy for the sake of being busy. He understood that a life filled with noise is not the same as a life filled with meaning. And maybe you've felt that too, how easily the clutter outside becomes clutter within. Your overthinking isn't just born from your thoughts. Sometimes it's fed by your environment. The endless to-do lists, the pressure to stay connected, The things you said yes to when your heart whispered no. And the truth is, you don't need more. You need space, room to breathe, room to think, room to hear your own voice again. So where can you begin? Start small. Clear your desk, silence your phone, step away from the things that no longer nourish you. Ask yourself, what in my life feels like noise? What can I release, even just for today? You don't have to change everything overnight. You just have to create a little space, because in that space you'll begin to notice something important. Your mind also quiets, not all at once, but gently, steadily. Simplicity isn't emptiness. It's presence. When your life is filled with too much, too many obligations, too many distractions, you lose connection to what matters. But when you strip it back, what remains is real, intentional, true. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to chase every opportunity. You don't need to keep up with a pace that leaves you breathless. You just need to return to what feels right, to what gives you peace, and let the rest fall away. Your life is your own. And it's allowed to be simple, it's allowed to be soft, it's allowed to be quiet. And it's in those quiet moments that your deepest wisdom can finally be heard. So declutter, not to impress anyone, not to fit a mold, but to make space for you, for your stillness, for your truth. Let go of one thing today that you no longer need. Maybe it's a physical object, maybe it's a mental loop, maybe it's an obligation you've outgrown. Whatever it is, let it go with love and trust that in the space it leaves behind, something lighter, something more honest will rise. Your clarity's not lost, it's just been buried under all the noise, under all the pressure, but it's still there, waiting patiently to be remembered. And when you begin to clear the space, you'll hear it again. Not loudly, but clearly, and it will feel like home. Chapter 8. Zoom out. Will this matter in 5 years? Right now, everything feels big, but not everything is big. There's a moment, maybe you felt it, when something small takes over your whole mind. A mistake, a silence in a conversation, a glance that didn't sit right, and suddenly that one thing becomes everything. You turn it over and over in your mind until it feels permanent, defining, overwhelming. But take a breath. Take a step back. Ask yourself softly, will this matter in 5 years? This isn't about dismissing your feelings. What you feel is real. What you think matters. But the scale in your mind doesn't always reflect the truth. Sometimes it magnifies what's fleeting. Sometimes it shrinks what's essential. The Stoics understood the value of perspective. They trained themselves to step out of the emotion and see the full picture. Because when you zoom out, even just a little, you give yourself something rare. Freedom from the illusion of urgency. That email you sent and regret. That awkward moment that keeps replaying. That thing you said or didn't say. In 5 years, will it shape who you are? Or will it be just another thread in the fabric of life, barely noticeable among the rest? When you ask this question, you shift from reactivity to wisdom. You remind yourself that not every thought is worth your energy. Not every worry deserves your peace, and not every fear needs to be entertained. Zooming out doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care wisely. You choose what's truly worth holding on to, and you gently release the rest. You've already lived through so many things that once felt unbearable. Things you thought would break you. Things you lost sleep over. But look at you now. You're still here, stronger, quieter, wiser. So the next time you feel trapped in your thoughts, pause. Picture yourself 5 years from now, older, steadier, with more life behind you. Ask that version of you, does this matter? And if the answer is no, let it go. Let it drift away like a leaf on water, because your time is precious, your energy is sacred. And most of the things that steal your peace are not as important as they seem. What will matter are the moments you showed up with love, the times you were kind to others and to yourself. The quiet choices you made to grow, to let go, to begin again. You're allowed to step back, to not get caught in every emotion, to not carry every fear. Zoom out, return to the big picture. Your life is too vast, too beautiful, too meaningful to be defined by a single bad day or a single anxious thought. So take a breath and remember what matters. Not everything, just the few things that truly do. Conclusion: you are already becoming. You've just walked through ideas that are older than empires, yet more relevant than ever, because they speak directly to your experience, to your quiet battles, to the weight you carry behind your smile. Overthinking doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're deeply human. It means you care, that you feel, that your mind is trying to protect you, even if sometimes it does it by building walls you no longer need. But now you have something else, not just knowledge, but awareness. The awareness that you are not your thoughts, that your power lies not in controlling everything, but in choosing how you respond. You've learned how to breathe through chaos, how to return to what's real, how to see clearly, act wisely, and live presently. This isn't about fixing your life. It's about living it more fully, with clarity, with calm, with strength. You may not feel transformed yet, and that's okay. Change doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it's a quiet shift, a choice to pause, to zoom out, to return to what matters. That's where your real power lives. And it's already beginning. If something in this message made you breathe a little deeper, if it helped you feel seen, if it reminded you that peace is possible even for you, then take it with you. Let it stay with you. And if you know someone who needs this reminder too, share it, not as advice, but as a gift. A quiet hand on the shoulder that says, "You're not alone in this." If you found value here, subscribe, stay close, because this space is for you, for your stillness, for your strength, for your return to self. Keep showing up. Keep choosing calm. And remember, you don't need to do everything. You just need to return to this moment, to what you can control, to who you already are. You're not behind, you're becoming, and that's enough.